You know it's that time of the year again when you see these guys. The monster cereals. As someone who grew up in the early 2000s, it's such a nostalgic feeling when you see these horror characters on the cereal boxes in stores once again. When I was a kid, my mom would buy at least one of the monsters every year too. With that nice feeling knowing it's this Halloween season settling back in. But what made them so iconic to this day, and when did they even release? Starting all the way back in the year 1971, in the month of March, the General Mills Company releases two monster cereals first. Count Chocula, a Count Dracula inspired type character whose cereal is flavored chocolate with marshmallows. And then Frankenberry, a Frankenstein inspired character who has strawberry flavored cereal with marshmallows as well. Being the only cereals with chocolate and strawberry flavors on the market at the time, it was a no-brainer for customers to try them out, especially since at the time you had Frosted Flakes and Cheerios and you just want something new. With that, it was a much needed change to try something like this. When the first commercial came out in 1971, it was widely well received. The charm of both monsters arguing which flavor was better, describing how much tastier it is, but then getting simply scared by the kid walking by, whose art style looks very familiar. The commercial was actually animated by the Peanut Studio. I think what also made customers interested in these cereals is the option, because you can decide what character is your favorite. Simply, if you like Dracula, you'd more likely go to Count Chocula, but that's my take on it with the idea of choice. Anyway, a year later, there was going to be one more choice of a monster to choose. In December of 1972, the General Mills Company decided to release a blueberry flavored cereal, with the mascot being a ghost. Respectively, the cereal is called Blueberry. These three are the main monsters we all know and love today, but we know there's a few more, but we'll get to that shortly. As with many other cereals, the monster cereals had their own little prizes inside, being mini toy versions of the characters, but not only that, it also surprised customers with posters, cards, glow-in-the-dark stickers, cutout mask, and even a small paint set. I can't imagine that working today, having paint in the same box with your cereal. There was something else I found interesting on looking up the prizes as well. Apparently in the late 70s, if you bought two boxes, General Mills actually gave away trick-or-treat bags. It's so fitting for them to be leaning into the Halloween stuff like that. And I was also curious what they were going for on eBay, and I won't be getting it anytime soon. But there was one more notable prize that really sticks out to me. That was the Flexi record disc. An actual record in the cereal box is interesting to me. It features three potential records, one being called the Monster Go Disco, probably noting the popularity of disco back in the 70s, and the second one being Count Chocula Goes to Hollywood, and then finally Monsters Adventures in Outer Space. The Monsters Go Disco is a 4-minute record that features all the monsters going to a disco dance contest, and Count Chocula Goes to Hollywood is a featuring the Count himself visiting Hollywood because he won a lookalike monster contest and seeing if he should become a star. And then finally, the Monsters Adventures in Outer Space is the monsters getting abducted by aliens and going through space, until eventually it was revealed to be a dream by Frankenberry. Now, as mentioned earlier, there was two other monsters that got later revealed. That was, of course, Fruit Brute and Yummy Mummy. But the reason they're separated from the main three is because they unfortunately get discontinued. Fruit Brute, releasing in 1974, is a werewolf-inspired character with a cherry-flavored cereal with marshmallows. Then Yummy Mummy, releasing much later in 1988, being obviously a mummy character. But the cereal is generic fruit flavored, but with vanilla flavored marshmallows. When Fruit Brute and Yummy Mummy released, it was not a hit at all. It was being compared to Fruit Loops right away, with it being more of a generic flavor to most and just felt like other cereals were just a better option. Plus, with sales being much lower, Fruit Brute unfortunately just gets discontinued in 1983, and then Yummy Mummy gets later discontinued in 1992. Speaking of Fruit Brute, his cereal was actually featured in the movie Pulp Fiction for a brief scene, and that came out in 1994, 11 years after it's been off the shelves. It's been said that Tarantino, the director himself, actually enjoyed it. Years later in 2013, Yummy Mummy and Fruit Brute actually get a revival for that 1 year, which is actually how I tried it myself. Surprisingly, it was much more successful too since it was very limited in stock. Also, as a fun addition, Target exclusively had the retro packaging for all five monsters. In the 90s and 2000s, the monster cereals throughout the years have gotten many different collaborations with many movies and artists, such as Casper, Scooby-Doo, and even the Goosebumps 2000 books. Also, one that surprised me was DC Comic artists in 2014 actually worked with the Monster cereal brand and made their own take on the monsters. In the year 2021, the Monster series all reunited in one single box, just for the celebration of 50 years. But anyway, calling it the Monster Mash, they had a brand new box of every single monster in a band, having all the marshmallows to represent each of them. 2 years later, I thought it was unexpected, but we actually ended up getting another monster, a new character for the cereal brand. It's a bit unfortunate to say at the year of making this video in 2025, she's already discontinued, according to the wiki page at least. Or just simply not featured this year. Where did she go? But anyway, the Carmella Creeper is a zombie type character but with a DJ personality. I guess they were trying something different this time for a mascot. And I'm also glad it's actually a female character for once. Definitely a nice change of pace. By the way, her cereal flavor is caramel apple. It's actually not bad trying it myself, but it doesn't seem it was widely well received. Today, the newest collaboration of the monster cereals is by the Jim Henson Company, having all the monsters in a Muppet version of themselves, and this works so well in my opinion. There's even tons of new merchandise now for them as well, ranging from Funko Pops, Funko Sodas, masks, figures, shirts. As always, guys, I really do appreciate if you give a like and a subscribe. I really appreciate it so much if you actually made it to the end of the video.